So, pizza's here. Burb.
Burb! Sweetie, sweetie, sweetie.
Back to the game. Oh. I'm checking to see if there's like an actual menu in the game, and I guess not. It was just this one. So, yeah. Can I go back? Yes. I like this. I like this shrine. It looks like it. What's the Skeksis from Dark Crystal? What's over here? Ooh. The truth behind the SkyRipper is shrouded in a thick fog. The most believable tale is that the transcendent emperor had used the SkyRipper to banish Iblis. Iblis? Then, the TE buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile to rid the world of its last divine presence? Or was it the price to pay for using such a tremendous power? Could the SkyRipper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? My rituals will summon the Iblis stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also cause the SkyRipper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resources to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is an invaluable bargaining chip should the old ones begin to decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try, but gods are predictable, and I can rely on that to always be one step ahead. Emperor Insengrim III, Secret Journal. I kind of enjoy that, like, this emperor totally was just like, nah, I got the gods, they fine. Like, I can figure all this out. There's no way that they can get ahead of me. But then also just, like, left individual pages of his journal all around the place. I enjoy that. He's like, I'm one step ahead. Whoops.
Renato hated gogglers, but it freaked him out to cut them.
Oh, it was close. So that first time, I had enough time to slice it, but then when the words came up on the bottom, for some reason, I started going slower than normal. So that wasn't fun to suddenly be going half speed.
I'm sorry, but this needs to happen. Me and you talking right this second.
Okay.
So, you watch a Japanese commercial for, advertising, hey, get your DHA. It could, a lack of DHA can lead you to make dumb decisions.
Okay.
And he didn't understand that at all, and DHA is an English thing. Like, it's an English word, we know what it is.
Okay. She's watching Jacksepticeye watch Japanese commercials about weird things.
A puzzle. Renato loved puzzles, except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Hmm.
Huh? A lever? That was new. Most people still use doorknobs.
Oh, I see. Oh. La 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 la. Lost my apple. What? There's another way to get over here? That's weird.
was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Money.
Yes, that was the reason special.
Who needed bridges anyway?
I'm trying to see if there's like a way across this water, but apparently not. So I'm not certain what this was saving from. Oh, apparently there's an invisible wall there. This way. What's over here?
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Not hot enough. So basically we had to be able to finish that puzzle. That's sad. I was hoping it was optional and I'd actually gotten something cool out of that. Oh, that don't look good. Alright, no secrets, whatever.
There it was. SkyRipper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it.
It's like the inside of a Pokeball.
Weapon at all. He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. SkyRipper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
I mean, it's true, she gonna find us no matter what.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
Let's go flying D20.
He looked up at the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend. Was he confronting his own unimportance? What had got into him? He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero. And soon he'd prove it.
Oh, get both around. Interesting.
Bernardo wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
Alright. So I see that there's like a teleporty thing. No, I can't go back! Just kidding. Anything this way? Oh, I just teleported back to the beginning. Got you. Interesting. So the reason I didn't notice that at first is because,
And this is why heroes are called dashing, Bernardo thought. See? Dashing? Get it?
the game has like multiple layers on it that I think are randomly generated. Not positive on that, but they look quite similar sometimes. And sure. Whee! Here we go. Can I break this? Nope.
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Renato. There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Like plot? Nope, not that way. I was trying to see if there's a thing I could hook shot onto.
Where did that go to?
Where did what go to? Oh, teleporting button. Got you.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be. He'd missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like he was at a reunion.
A skill reunion. To be more healthy. Apparently. There we go. Fight, fight, fight. Yep, he's that one. Well, I could open for me. Nope, okay, can't go at it. This seems fine.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it. Well, of course. If you've just assembled a weapon out of legend that can exile gods from the world, you'd want to have a scientist or two look at it. And even if they disagreed and he had time, he could ask Calaveras himself. Yes, the observatory would be his objective.
Somebody's gonna steal it. I bet you. It's gonna be the Emperor's daughter. The cat general. It's gonna be her. She's like, thanks, this is mine now.